What's going on, everyone? Data Report here for another edition of the Pandemic Update. Today is Long COVID Awareness Day, so we are going to make some awareness about that here in the video today. And I did tweet a thread earlier today about my personal experience with long COVID. You can see that on Twitter. But before we get into anything about long COVID, got to get to this news story first. Gym owner must pay nearly $124,000 in fines for defying COVID protocols. I am sure this happened quite a few places around the country. There were multiple cases of this happening here in my area, in Philadelphia metro area. This one was in New Jersey, and I do remember this very well when it happened. They kept continuously defying orders at this gym in Camden County, New Jersey. It was at the Atlas Gym in Belmar. They must pay $124,000 in fines. And you know what? They defied orders. They were doing unsafe practices, play stupid games, win stupid prizes in this case. And there was one in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. There was one 5-10 minutes from my house that defied orders. They were reported on many of times, but guess what? The state never actually came in and shut that one down. But hey, this is past tense. This is when things were closed. Everything's open now. No one cares anymore. Moving on to this. Long COVID or post-COVID conditions. Today is Long COVID Awareness Day, and I think it's a good time for another reminder of some of the symptoms with COVID. Some people who get COVID get it bad. Some people get it mild, but it never completely clears, and they run into post-COVID complications. And there's 150 to 200 different symptoms. I've said it before. I just want to read some of them off to you because it's important that we bring awareness to what the symptoms are. If you have had COVID and you're not feeling right and you're having new issues or you never completely recovered, consider talking to your doctor. Here's some of the issues that you may experience. Tiredness or fatigue that interferes with daily life. Yeah, some people get so much tired and the fatigue is so bad, they cannot even do daily day-to-day activities. They don't even want to get up out of bed. We see countless situations like this being tweeted on social media. Every once in a rare while it gets reported on the news. To be honest with you, it does not get enough attention. I wish one of the primetime news networks tonight would do a whole piece just on Long COVID Awareness Day, but that's obviously not going to happen. Second thing on our list, symptoms that get worse after physical or mental effort. Third thing would be fever. Then you come down to this, respiratory and heart symptoms, difficulty breathing or shortness of breath, cough, chest pain, fast beating or pounding heart, also known as heart palpitations. And this is a real problem as well. I mean, several people deal with problems like this. I get cough, I get difficulty breathing sometimes still, and I still do get chest pain. Moving on here, neurological symptoms. That's a big one. You get difficulty thinking or concentrating, sometimes referred to as brain fog. That is something I see quite often, and there's a lot of examples of this potentially happening. Let's go on here and I'll list an example or two. Headache, sleep problems. That's one thing I have is sleep problems and headaches as well. I get fatigue sometimes late in the afternoon, like early evening, between like 3 and 5 o'clock. It's like, wow, what just hit me? I get tired all of a sudden. Dizziness when you stand up. Lightheadedness. Pins and needles feeling. Change in smell or taste. Depression or anxiety. I can honestly say anxiety is another symptom that I have dealt with. As for the brain fog incidents, I personally don't have them, but there's a lot of them going on. Has anyone noticed all these strange happenings? With the airlines and different things? Who knows? Could that be contributed to the long COVID brain fog? You never know. Digestive symptoms, diarrhea, stomach pain, other symptoms, joint or muscle pain, rash, changes in menstrual cycles. I mean, there are so many different things. Like I said, 150 to 200 different symptoms, and I wanted to bring some awareness to this today. Taking a look at today in COVID history. Back in March 15th of 2020, states began to implement shutdowns in order to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The New York City public school system, the largest system in the U.S. with 1.1 million students, shuts down, while Ohio calls for restaurants and bars to close. Moving on to this now, we now have today's wastewater, and not really much of a change in wastewater today. The northeastern states, you still got the moderate transmission in Maine with one site reporting high transmission. New York State is doing in fairly good shape except for western New York, central New York, and upstate New York. Down in New York City itself is generally in low to near moderate. We'll call it low though. And when you look at them, you don't see any sites, or at least I haven't seen any sites that are rising there. Pennsylvania's in good shape. Ohio still has this issue where there's a lot of areas with moderate transmission. The rest of the Great Lakes are not doing all too bad. We still have a lot of moderate sites, but that's also mixed in with some lower sites. One area that is starting to get a little concerning is Missouri. If you notice here, there's a few more orange wastewater sites and even a couple high sites now, which I don't recall seeing last week. Nebraska, you still have a lot of high sites to moderate sites. Are they just not updating, or I don't know what the deal is with Nebraska. And here's one that's actually dropping. But look at this one. This one, it's not a very big one, Wayne County, Nebraska, but it's just literally going up. Here's another one in western Nebraska. Same thing, a little bit bigger site, 15,932 population, Scottsbluff County, and it's literally going straight up. The West Coast is not doing terrible, but the Northwest does have some moderate sites. Colorado's one that's concerning. There's some high sites. This one I clicked on here is dropping. And as you can see here, here's another one, Pitkin County. That is slightly rising. All right, enough with the wastewater. Let's take a look at the transmission map. Total counties in high transmission, 1,318. Substantial transmission, 848. Moderate transmission, 829. Low transmission, 227 counties. So the majority of counties in the country are still above moderate transmission, even though you see more yellow on this map. And incidentally, take a look at Alaska. There are a lot of counties in Alaska that have high transmission. That's not good. There's a few moderate to low ones, but generally, actually, correction, substantial or low. There are no moderates in Alaska at all, so that's not good. Taking a look here at the latest variant proportion, XBB 1.5 is at 89.5%, BQ 1.1 is at 4.7%, XBB is at 2.1%, XBB 1.5.1. This is the new subvariant that popped up recently, last week. It's at 1.6%, and BQ.1 is at 1%. We'll get a full update of this on Friday. New York State, 1,128 people have tested positive in the last 24 hours. 2.6% positivity rate. That is 0.1% higher than the 7-day average of 2.5%. New York State hospitalizations are at 1,361. 144 people in the ICU. The wild card with New York State is, will they drop below 1,000 before the spring wave comes? At this point in time, it's possible. We're taking a look at the latest hospitalization numbers in Texas. Show they are down significantly from last week, with 1,405 people in the hospital. And moving on now to the latest numbers from BNO. We're going to use BNO this week because Merdiva doesn't seem as accurate to me. U.S. COVID update. This was as of yesterday. They tweeted this. New cases, 17,091. We know that's a significant undercount because only 11 states were reporting yesterday out of 50. 675 people have been added to the hospital. 22,538. 5+ people added to the ICU, which making that at 2,938. 215 deaths were added. That actually took the death average down by 3 to 256, but we know that's probably an undercount as well. Taking a look at Walgreens here. Not going to spend too long on Walgreens because we're running pretty long here with the video today. And Current week positivity nationally is 26.2%. Prior week was 28.6%. Difference of down 2.4%. Let's just start off with some of these bad states. New Hampshire, 41.9%. That is now up 10.5%. The prior week was at 31.4%. Then we come down here to Rhode Island. Haven't talked about them in a while. Well, guess what? Rhode Island is rapidly rising all of a sudden. Current week, 30%. Prior week, 17.6%. That's a difference of up 12.4%. And keep in mind, Rhode Island is right next to Boston, right next to Massachusetts, right next to, Cape Cod, where those nursing home outbreaks were. So it's possible that Rhode Island's now seeing some outbreaks of its own just based on the positivity going up. West Virginia positivity is dropping nicely, 21.7%. Prior week was 29.1%. Kentucky positivity continues to rise at 32.4%. That's up 3.3% from 29% the week before. Mississippi positivity is at 28.8%, rapidly rising now. Remember, they neighbor Louisiana, which had that New Orleans Mardi Gras surge, and looks like that may have subsided. Anywho, up 7.3%, 21.5% the previous week. Louisiana is at 23.1%. The prior week was at 29.9%. They're down 6.9%. Wyoming, still 33.3%, up 24.2% from the previous week. Utah is starting to rise, 30.3% this week, 26.2% last week. That is up 4.1%. And finally, ending on Oregon, 23.1% this week, 21.3% last week. That is up by 1.7%. Alrighty, we're not going to do an international update today. We'll do that on the next video. But it was very important today that we bring more attention to long COVID on this Long COVID Awareness Day. If you or someone are dealing with long COVID, my sympathy really goes out to you. I mean, it's a tough illness to go through. And for those who have to care for someone with long COVID, God bless you. Thank you for doing what you do. And for those who have avoided it all this time, continue to avoid infection as much as possible. You do not want to get long COVID. It will turn your life upside down. It's just a horrible illness that doesn't get enough attention. The government doesn't do enough to do research or to help those with it. And it's something that really needs to be addressed. Alrighty, thanks for watching everyone. If you like this video, hit the like button down below. If you want to see more of my content like this, hit the subscribe button down below. See you all again next time and stay safe.